Thank you very much for being here. First of all, I didn't know that I was supposed to sit so nicely. I didn't even change my shoes, and I'm sorry that by being in this situation, because I could have changed my shoes, and because Aubrey, he knew, you see, he brings very unique shoes. But me, no, he wanted me to be in this position. Okay, no problem. So thank you very much to all of you. Well, I think that we all know that classic games like, and this one is even a derby, are always lived by people in a different way. That's exactly why we are also in a different press conference. So everything around the match is, the preparation is different from the part of people, from the fans to the media, to the PSL itself, in terms of organization, from the police, from the fans especially, but for the coaches it's just another match. Our job is to prepare a match the same way, study the opponent, try to understand how the team developed. In this case we played the Pirates in 2 draws already this season, so it's the first match we're going to play. Obviously we have a reference, but I think that both teams developed since then, so there are new things that will be put for sure on the pitch. I just wish, obviously, that in terms of safety, that everything goes well. It's such a big game. I also hope that Mamelodi Sundowns fans can come in numbers so that we have the support we need. And obviously, I hope that we are able to have good conditions. Let's hope the rain keeps away from us. Otherwise, I believe that the pitch will be very difficult to be playing good football on. And I hope the players and the coaches are able to give the show, and that the referees are on the height of such demand, because they are a very important part to keep the level of the game. Because there's some issues that have been happening, and it's important they don't happen again.
Aubrey, coach mentions that he's hoping that the players from both sides and the coaches will be able to give the fans a show. But before I get to speak about the technical aspect of the game come Saturday, let's just speak about the fans showing up on Saturday, because it's a sold-out affair, certainly a very exciting one between 2 South African football giants. For you, from a player point of view, being able to have the fans in the stands there, and also just once again being rewarded for their passion, and just saying, "Tax now 25,000, also support 10,000, I'm standing against Pirates."
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, like the coach said, it's a big game. It's not an easy game against Pirates. But I think we've been preparing well for this week. And for the fans part, they must come in numbers like they've always, supported us throughout the season. And we ask them to come early, because sometimes, having to go back, and the game hasn't started already. So I think it's very important for them to come early, make sure they're safe. I'm sure the game will be very much interesting for both teams. Because, like I said, it's not an easy game to play against Pirates, because you see this season they've been doing well. For us, it's to make sure we match them as well, because we're a big team as well that wants to compete each and every game. So but I think we're looking forward to the game. Very interesting game, hopefully entertaining for the fans, and we just ask them to come in numbers and come early and support the guys.
Coach, you've already touched on the fact that you have come up against Pirates already twice this season. Nothing separating the 2 sides and 2 draws except a penalty shootout. I want to touch on how your team has performed this season, because you've only lost 1 game in regulation time this entire season. But also, with your home games, you have just been so dominant in terms of churning out those results. The 2 games you have lost at home this season have been through a penalty shootout. Let's speak to that and how you've ensured that when you play a home game, you get the results, particularly from a league point of view.
Yeah, it's obviously it's an important point. It means that the team takes the matches and the support and the fact that we feel at home in the right way. Playing home in general gives us the conditions to find a proper environment to perform. usually, and as you know that in the PSL, usually the teams when they play Sundowns, they change their place where they play. So most of the time when we're gonna play away, we play in pitches that no one else plays. For example, we played Miguel and we went to play a pitch where no one played, just Mamelodi Sundowns played. When you go to play Polokwane, you play in a pitch that no one plays, just Sundowns plays. So when the championship is done in such organizational question, of course Sundowns has to be very strong at home if we want to compete in the other ones, because when we play away, usually we struggle a lot because we are given not the best conditions, and mostly we are not given the same conditions as the competition is getting. So I don't know why, but it seems that it's like that.
We speak about the conditions, perhaps Aubrey can touch from a, thank you, perhaps you can touch from a player point of view, because we saw of course the shift of the venue for this encounter, moving now to the Loftus Stadium. How important was that shift for you from a player point of view? Because you and piano that your fans want all the time.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the past games we played at Rivalry, I think the pitch was in a proper state. Even though as players, we are required to perform all the time, so we don't really focus more on those things. We just try and play our best football irrespective of the pitch. But I think at Loftus, for people, I think there's also many people excited that the game is going to Loftus, which is something nice to see as a player. That the supporters are looking forward to the game, and for us it's just to make sure we do well irrespective of where we play, because at the end of the day we are professionals. So, but to be honest, it hasn't been the best of pitches for the past few games that we played at Lucas and Loftus. I think it was a bit better when we played Ramos Stars. And yeah, I think the pitch will be proper on the weekend, and we play our normal football the way we usually play. So yeah.
Coach, I want to touch from a tactical point of view now. Of course, we know you'll be missing one of your key players out in the midfield come this game against Orlando Pirates on Saturday, which is Teboho Mokoena. Speak to me about how that is affected, if at all, your preparations in training this week in terms of planning for not having him on the field. You've spoken in the past about we're going to get an opportunity to perhaps see some of these youngsters being given a run this weekend as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you push the situation of Teboho, because it's also very coincident that in the last minute of a match he gets a yellow card when we're going to play Pirates after, but I believe in Christmas. I just hope that the ones that we're going to feature or put to play are on the height of him. I think that it's clear for everybody that Teboho had a very difficult moment on his personal life due to the situation that he had to deal with. No one would like to keep his name, despite he had no responsibility, but associated with a situation that could touch the country for history, and until his last day of life he would be associated with something negative. I think that after the qualification of Bafana Bafana for the World Cup, it's clear that Teboho is another man, and we feel so happy because of that. So I think it's even a human question that was on the table, and it was clear for everybody that Teboho was not in the best place. And but now we feel him happy, we feel him communicating, we feel him smiling, and I believe that best Teboho Mokoena will come in the next matches again to help us, because he's a leader also for us. He's an important player, someone we like as too much as a boy, as he's a father of a family also, so he was for sure a not happy man in the last months. But we cannot speak about that. Unfortunately, we lost Miguel also in an unfortunate situation where he was responsible, of course, but that also takes him out of the match. But the coaches cannot relate with that. Obviously, that everybody knows that as powerful as the squad is, and as powerful as your bench on these kind of matches is very important. So we just hope that we can be on that height. But as matches are played from the first minute, what we have to do is take the responsibility of making it with the right commitment, with the right approach. be very loyal to the way we are preparing the match, because we know how we can be aggressed, we know what are the pluses or the less powerful aspects from Orlando, like they do know from us. So the details will make the difference on the match. As you understand from the matches we played, both away when we played in Orlando Stadium and when we played the second match on the Cup. By details, we didn't score in both matches a second goal, and by details we suffered a goal that didn't allow us then to avoid the penalty shootout. So let's hope this time we can make the details fall for us. We are loyal and strict on the game plan throughout the 90 plus something minutes that we have to play, and that percentage of that we can control, we take it to the limit so that we can win.
Just a quick one before we open up the floor. You speak about you're prepared in terms of the players you have in your starting 11 as well as those that are available for you from the bench. We speak about a player we've seen come from the bench for you this season on a number of occasions, Peter Shalulile, a man that has been able to come onto the field and churn out the results and find the back of the net and the goals when you need them. Let's speak to that, coach. Because some coaches will tell you, I don't think I've got a starting 11 and subs, I've got a starting 11 and impact players that can come and impact. If you can just touch for me on a Peter Shalulile, as well as a Modiba, who's received so much criticism from the Mamelodi Sundowns fans, somewhat feeling perhaps he hasn't performed the way that they would have expected.
Yeah, thank you very much for allowing me to speak about that. You spoke about, in fact, the game from the bench. I think that in the beginning of the season from Sundowns was not as in the level as we would like it to be, exactly because we had most of the times no chances to impact the game from the bench. It was clear. Finally, in the last matches, we had the opportunity and chance to start lining up players that were not even here, and that obviously bring capacity to really aggress the opponents and manage the games tactically according to valued or more valid options. Regarding Peter or any player in the team, there are moments, and we believe Peter is living a good moment now. He's much happier. But that came also from the beginning of the season, the situation that Peter had. There were some issues regarding him staying or not in the club. There were some questions. And when the hearts became together, the hearts connect, the smiles appear, the performances appear, and for some time already that Peter is training very, very well, being committed with the job. But he just didn't play sooner because, as you understood, Ikram was scoring goals almost every match. We don't usually line up two strikers at the same time, just in some moments. So Peter waited with patience and hard work and belief, as he is, as good professional as he is, waiting for the moment. And when Ikram got his heart issue on the national team and he was released from the national team, Peter stood up and showed again with more regularity, of course by accumulating minutes, the level of player he is, and most of all how he's committed with us, with the work he does together with the coaches and his teammates, and with the club.
All right, so we'll open the floor for questions for members of the media. You've got a mic over here. There's a question right there behind you, Sabina. Let's start with that one, then we can work our way down.
Songs, ESPN Africa. Coach, in the last couple of weeks, Cardoso has spoken about how he wants Pirates to have less sterile possession, be more direct, be defensively stronger. He wants that to be his legacy in the club. From your point of view, what is the difference setting up a team against his Orlando Pirates compared to Jose Riveiro's Orlando Pirates?
Look, I totally respect your question, I understand it, but I'm here to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns, if you don't mind. I don't have to comment the team of Orlando Pirates, and I will not do it. It's coach's job to prepare his team, It's and especially on details, as you are asking for the questions. I think it's not even proper or polite for my part to compare his team to the one that was left by another coach. So I will respect the position and the work of the coach. Orlando Pirates is obviously a different team now, but it doesn't mean that it's worse or better. It's just what it is, and it's performing well as last year was performing well.
We'll take a question there.
Coach Benjamin Miguel, News. Coach, just an update on Tembazwane, and since the AFCON is just around the corner, from your own point of view, do you think he could make it into the Bafana AFCON team, looking at his progress of the team?
This is another delicate question because it touches again the work of another coach. So I don't usually like that because I also don't like when other coaches speak about my job. And I think it should be part of the respect that we have between ourselves. As you might believe, and I told you that publicly, me and Coach Hugo Bross, we have a very good relation and a very good communication. So everything that happens with Mamelodi Sundowns players regarding call-ups, when availability, he's 100% aware of everything because we speak together. So when he needs, he calls me. I also, after matches, usually, thank God, usually I congratulate him. It means that he wins a lot. But also I ask him things about the performance of the players, how the players were, the availability, the training, the loads. He's so open on the relation with ourselves that we share the work in order to make the things better for us here and for the national team when the players are on the service of the national team. If you ask my expectations and my wishes is that Tembo would go. Obviously, on the behalf and on the respect and the love we have for Tembazwane, we cannot wish nothing more than having him on the highest platforms of the South African football. He's not a youngster. Despite he has still a lot of flame and pleasure and will to play football in the highest level, and that's for sure what allows him still to be a player that can perform. So we need to bring him back to competition and from there open his horizons for the national team. That's what I'm going to do myself here, leading the medical department, the performance department and the technical department inside Mamelodi Sundowns.
But how far is he from coming there?
On training, soon, let's hope. On training. You saw him today, the training session was open, you saw him training on the separated from the group, so he's not still integrating the work on the group. What it means is not still available on the coach's side, so he's not even yet on the moment of returning to training, basically, or to performance. He's returning to training, not returning to performance. Physical activity specific to play football. And from there, he will have to recover his condition in order for us to put him to play. One thing you need to understand, Tembazwane had an injury that then was followed up by a second one, so we need to be very careful if we really want to give him conditions to play football this season and help Mamelodi Sundowns and after Bafana if the coach decides so. So that's what we're going to do. Be patient enough not to risk more, but take it to the limit so that we improve his conditions and increase his conditions of being available for us and for Bafana. Again, I repeat, if the coach decides so.
All right. Sorry, I can't see the mic. Where is the mic? Thank you.
Jordan from News 24. I have a question for both gentlemen. The first one is for the coach. Coach, you spoke about how you've been made to train in some not so to play in not some so great conditions, only playing away. How would you justify West Sundowns host teams at United Road, which has been one of the worst pitches in the country? And to Aubrey, what is it about this game when you guys are playing against Pirates that tends to bring the best out of players from both sides?
Yeah, it's true. It's true that our pitch was not in proper condition in the last 3 matches in Lucas Modiba. It's absolutely true. And you don't need to throw me nothing because I was the first one to speak about that on the press conferences before and after the match. The ones that regularly come to my press conferences know that I'm the first and I was the first one to defend football and the quality of football. the quality of the conditions of the pitches. I spoke already with the president of the CEO of the PSL regarding the height of the grass that is not cut anywhere, and there's no rules on that in South Africa. I spoke already about watering and obliging to water the pitches before the matches, because that is the way South African football should be developed. And that is the things I would like people to worry, and yourselves to worry, more than speaking about what kind of pitches we are not even able to give. Unfortunately, there was a virus on the pitch in Lucas. Fortunately, today I saw photos, because we have a group that was created in order to control the conditions in both pitches where we can play football. And the pitch is already in good conditions. You know very well that in terms of safety reasons, Lucas Modiba is not really the best venue to host a big match like this one. So I think that's why the match was changed for Loftus. I told already here today that I hope it doesn't rain, because if it will rain, believe me, it will be a horrible pitch to play football. Because the pitch in Lucas, also in Loftus, will be changed pretty soon, or at least with a big intervention. Because what happened is that that is a mixed pitch. Naturally, originally it was a mixed pitch, so there's synthetic among the natural grass. What happened is that with so much use, especially on rugby matches, the synthetic grass already is undone, so there's already not synthetic grass exposed. So we have to deal with the natural grass only, what is not very compact, very dense, and it got muddy under. So when it's dry, we try to have the pitch as dry as possible and just water it as it's needed before the match, so that you can play and it doesn't get slippery. We didn't like to play the match we played Pirates last year. We didn't like to play on that match. Don't think we like those kind of things. We don't. We like fair play. We like to play football. As better pitch as I have as coach, the best I will perform, and my players for sure. If you ask them where they want to play, they don't want to play any kind of pitch that doesn't allow them to play football. And I repeat, because it was public, I stated, and I will repeat. Probably, and I say probably, some of the most beautiful football ever played in South Africa was on the World Cup, among others, and that was due a lot to the quality of the pitches that we had.
Aubrey?
So question, I think with Pirates, if you can check, I think the last few seasons, this is the team that has been pushing us, especially in the league towards the end. So I think that gives us extra motivation playing against them, even other teams as well. But with Pirates, I think it's because of that, and obviously the bench and the national team as well. We do have like more or less same number of players. So yeah, we always talk about these games, and we don't want to like probably lose to them, going into the national team, because the bench is going to be something else as players. So I think that, but mostly I think because they've been doing well in the league, pushing us to the limit, and obviously taking away 3 points from them, helps us, towards the end, to have an edge over them, in clinching the league.
We'll take another question from the floor.
It's Lawrence from Kickoff Coach here. Coach, I want to ask you about, you played 5 games in 14 days, and you're not going to play any match through the whole of October. And then it's going to be obviously the AFCON break. How are you juggling all of that? You obviously also became the first team to play 10 games in the league this season. How are you juggling all of those factors as a Mamelodi Sundowns team that was also at the Club World Cup?
Look, you know that, and you saw it from last season, that Sundowns had a lot of matches ahead. So we played matches in the middle of the week consistently, because we believed we could go far away in the Champions League as we did last year. And we wanted to have the weeks of the Champions League full, so that we don't charge our players. And I would remind everybody that when there's a South Africa team playing on the Champions League, it's not only representing the club or the badge that we have on the chest, but South African football. And it's important that everybody knows that. So when we try to clean the weeks from matches so that we can play Champions League and arrive on the last stages and be on the path to compete with the biggest teams, because the biggest teams in Africa, they don't play in the middle of the week, never. Because that Calais Championship is done like that, and I would like you to remember that I was on that side 1 year ago when I played the final of Esperance. We didn't need to ask to change matches because the calendar is done that the teams don't play in the middle of the week because they want the Tunisian football to take the Champions League seriously, and everybody supporting the team that is there. So what I mean is last year and this year we pushed some matches back so in order to clean the future, so that we, with our expectations of going far on the Champions League, as we are trying to state by entering the group stage, we can have conditions to fight for the best position on the Champions League. Anyway, I go directly to what you said, and just wanted to make this comment because, for example, we are trying to play a match on the next weekend. So after Pirates, we play on Wednesday against Galaxy, and we are going team by team in the PSL to see who can accept to play against us on Sunday. But already we tried 4 and no one wants to play. Maybe someone is telling them not to, or us not to play against us on that weekend. But no, we are trying, because we want to clean the future. We want to clean because, as you know, we come from the international break. And we had to play Orbit, for example, 3 days before we play Champions League. And in January it will happen the same. We have to play one championship match before the Champions League match, and it is and our players come from the Sham tournament. So we are just trying to create conditions to succeed internationally when sometimes we manage matches. And also we don't expect that this season Mamelodi Sundowns will have to play, or any team will have to play matches after the last calendar matches that is scheduled now, like it happened last year, that 4 or 5 matches were played after. We don't expect that favor to be done to us, so we need to play the matches on the fixtures where they are.
Right, before we've got a question at the back there with Temba Shabalala, but before the mic gets to Temba, perhaps Coach, if you can just give us an update on what your team's looking like for this weekend. I know you've touched, of course, on Temba's one being unavailable. We've touched on Mugwena being unavailable. Who else is not available for you this weekend, be it based on injury or otherwise?
You want to put me in that situation?
You don't have to give me a starting 11. I just want an injury update of who you likely will not be able to have available for you.
I confess to you that I have some doubts on the availability of players, but I cannot tell you the names. Right, Aubrey? It's better I don't tell. No? Leave it like this.
We will just leave the suspended
No, look, believe me, I will, and we are trying to. And we know that, let me tell you another way. We know that when we'll have availability of the players from Sundowns, this team will be so strong. But it's not still the moment. As you know, we lost Moreno, for example. Moreno is a very important player for us, not only to manage modal, but also to reinforce, because he brings extra energy when he enters the pitch. He's a very important attacking player besides being a fullback. He's not available, as you know, he got injured on the national team. And others.
Okay.
So
I'll let you have it.
Really, because this team still didn't have the conditions to be all complete. And when the team will be complete, and let's hope it happens soon, for sure this team will be even stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's why we want to clean the future, so that when we arrive on the decision-making moments of the season, we can have not only availability, but conditions to create availability. That is very important for us.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Sports. Coach, looking at this matter of the national team, with your players playing there, Orlando Pirates dominating, just like Aubrey said, What does it say to you seeing us as one of the national teams that has got players who are going to the World Cup having been dominated by the Betway Premiership? Is it something that you as coaches from the Sundowns would say, our league is doing well, and looking into the type of players that we have that are competing within the league, whether it's from TS Galaxy, from Kaiser Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, just the state of the league going into the world stage in the international team. Your young boy, Koza, got a taste of the national team as well. If you can touch on that as well, if you've spoken to him, what do you make of his appearance?
Look, you guys, you are very competitive. So South African players are very competitive. So the games, they are not only usually played with intensity and character, but also it's clear that the level of the game has developed or keeps on developing. What I think is important is that we can go deeper if you want to develop for even a higher stage the football in South Africa. Is going on the grassroots, improve the conditions, because compared to Europe, you see that, and this is a discussion that we have a lot internally regarding recruitment of players. Your youngsters, they usually appear later than, for example, they appear in Europe. Because also in Europe they start playing football in schools, in clubs, academies earlier. So it's important if you want to get even more talents and earlier, so that even you can sell them for abroad. What will also bring an upgrade on the South African football, because if you are able to export players for the international level of football, especially in Europe, then those players will for sure help a lot, because they will be stimulated by a high level. If you can put players in La Liga in Spain, in Ligue 1 in France, if you can take players in Premiership in England, that would be fantastic. And I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible. But those clubs don't buy players with 23 or 20 or 24. They will not buy, because already they cannot resell them. So it's important that South Africa understands this. Bringing youngsters earlier and releasing them, not having fear to release them and make money with them, of course, is very important for the future development of the football. Another thing, it's important, I spoke a bit again, it's important to understand that it's not up to me to discuss it. I just raise the problems or the situations. It's really important to increase the level of the game played by giving proper conditions. I don't care if it's Lucas that is not okay, or Loftus, or the pitch in Block 1 or in Golden. I don't care. What I care is that football is always better when it's played in better pitches. And that will be regulated by the PSL. Find solutions, because it's not up to me to find them. Of course, that will demand some agreements. I know that some clubs, they don't use their own facilities. I'm aware of the problem of each. I know it's not simple, but it must be started to be solved today if we want to have a solution, a really solved issue in 5 years. Because if we continue saying, but the pitches are not from the clubs, are from the city council, we will continue to just find justifications and not really a way to find a definitive question that will bring the football even in higher level. Because with all the respect, when we see FNB matches, we see high level pitches. When we see Orlando, we see high level pitches. When we see Loftus at its best, we see high level pitches. Even Lucas, when it's at its best, it's high level. And in South Africa, there are so many venues that are, you had the World Cup, you made stadiums, you have stadiums. Just try to find how to use the best. I still know that there are pitches and stadiums that are available, and not even PSL matches I played there. I saw one, I don't want to speak about the name, fantastic one. And I think those obviously are the aspects. I think coaches have quality here, so but we need to raise the quality of the coaches on the lowest levels, because not only developing academies come from the development of the players, they come from the development of coaches. I come from there. I developed myself as a coach in Academy of Porto, but that was a school of coaches. From there we had André Vilas-Boas, Vitor Pereira. Mourinho was not there because he was already, but a lot of Portuguese coaches come from academies, from the best academies in Portugal, and then we do our path until the professional side. But we are educated high and deeply and in the lowest levels. So I think if investing in education is also a very important question, and especially on the coaches that work with the youngsters, because they are so important, so much more important than myself that work already with professional players that are most of them already developed. But the level the players arrive on us should be increased, and that has to do with the quality of the coaches. So I think education of coaches is something that really needs to be addressed and discussed. That I also don't know how it works. I'm not telling it's bad, but we need always to make it better. That is the question. We just need to make it always better. And believe, this is something that is discussed deeply in I don't know in African countries, but in Europe they take it to the limits. Developing the education of coaches and pushing them to the limit, making them very difficult to access even the licenses, but making them hard also to get, but providing high quality education in different levels.
All right, can we get Mahlati a mic over here?
Regarding Mali. Mali, as you saw, he got injured in the Remo Stars match away. He didn't break any bone, but he had an issue on his ankle, and he's recovering. Of course, that took him a little bit of energy from his process. He was getting affirmation inside Mamelodi Sundowns, but also you know that in Mamelodi Sundowns, the competition for the positions in the pitch is so hard that sometimes just a slight lack of luck or a little bit of missed opportunity in one match or a bad performance can take you out of your path. It's not what happened with Mali. Mali is still injured, so he's.
There we go.
So he will not be able to, unfortunately, to perform or to play. But we expect him to come very quick. But he will also not be available for national team on the next national team break or international break. He will not be.
Okay, Mahlati, before I come to you, Aubrey, I want to ask you quickly, before we run out of time, the importance of the fans coming early on Saturday, because we know how much a delayed kickoff affects, especially from a player and coaching point of view, because you've already set your minds on, we're getting onto the field of play at this time. If we're having a 15-30-minute delay, that affects you as players the most in terms of your preparation and just psychologically wanting to get on the field and kick the ball. Let's speak to that element from your point of view.
Like I've touched before, I think it's important for supporters to come early, make sure that they get their packing, they have their tickets in their hands, and so that we don't have because if it's like we've seen games before where like they stampede or something at the gates and everything. So to try and avoid that, I think they must come early numbers, and obviously having to delay the game, I think it's not a good thing for us as players as well. Like you said, we prepare. Now you're getting ready to you put your game face, and next thing they come, they say no, the game has been delayed for another 30 minutes. I think that plays in our minds as well, in preparation for the game. So I think them coming early to also help us, to be focused in the game, make sure we prepare well for the game, and make they must come in numbers, but early, occupy their seats and make sure they're ready for the game to start at, I think, 3 or half past 3, if I'm not mistaken. So
3:30, yes. 3:30. Mahlati?
It's past 3. Personally, my question is for you. From a player's perspective, do you guys see Pirates' elimination from the Champions League as something maybe that may inspire them to come strong in the league and give you guys a challenge? Because with due respect to all that's why there's really be one in traffic in a way. And also you can touch a little bit on the just not having depth in this big match.
I don't think them being knocked out in the Champions really, helps them, or like how you put it. I don't remember how you put it, but because I think they've got a very good squad. They've got depth in their squad. They've signed very quality players this season. I think even though they're still in the Champions League, they'll still give us, a good run for our money because the quality that they have, you could see they could juggle. They could juggle, Champions League, M10, and the national team as well because they've got many players in the national team as well. So I don't think that changes anything because they've got depth in their squad, the quality, they're doing well, and I don't think that changes anything. And obviously, like coach has touched, he's a very important player for our team. We know what he offers in the team, and I think we've got other players that can come help us in the game because we've got another quality in other players, but obviously Debo is very important for us, and we're gonna miss him in this game, and hopefully we win it for him as well. So
do you mind me make a comment because it's interesting that we understand that South African football is gives very beautiful shows and spectacles. The way the fans behave on the stands, being so capable to support their own team, but at the same time be side by side, is something that should be highlighted. Because sometimes I speak about things that can improve, it seems that I'm speaking against I also understand how beautiful, and I enjoy so much of the embassies in the stadium. Regarding the question of Pirates not being on the group stage of the Champions League, I think that has nothing to impact on us regarding the PSL or the rivalry that is between the two clubs. But we should understand all together that in 2021-29 there's a Club World Cup again. And Orlando Pirates is competition with Mamelodi Sundowns for a spot on the Club World Cup. Obviously, not playing the group stage in one full entire season. If we do well, we can score points that will obviously put us in a more comfortable position towards being on the ranking position for a spot on that Club World Cup. That's the most important thing that obviously we can see coming out from there. But we don't expect that impacts any kind of negativity on their side regarding this match. Of course, it's completely different competitions, completely different mindset. Always stated there's too much on stake, not only in terms of PSL classification, but also in the rivalry that these guys they have between themselves, because they are friends, and we see also how it's so kind that most of the times when they succeed, even from the other teams, they post themselves on social media supporting each other, even being from other club, but in the end of the day they go for national team and they will joke with each other, play with each other, try to push each other, and obviously they want to succeed. So there's so many things besides the Champions League what happened that it will not be important when the referee whistles to start the match.
Alright, so we'll take one final question at the back there. Has been allocated, sorry, already to Belile. I didn't allocate it. I'm bringing or S. Further?
Okay. Coach, I'm here just behind the cameras, so that's why I'm getting the special, because she couldn't see me. I've been raising my hand. Maybe a bit unrelated to the game. This morning I was at the send-off of the under-17s to the World Cup. And the captain there, with the injury to the original captain, is now Mamelodi, one of your boys in the DDC. I mean, we've just seen now with the promotion of Spear to the first team. I mean, what does this do? Because I was just listening to the way the boy is talking, Mamelodi, you can see that this is a boy that is even ready for the top level, participating in big tournaments like the World Cup. What does it do to them, and also for the future of this institution here?
I will bring up, and thank you very much, because I was not speaking about that, but I can. Look, Mamelodi Sundowns is a very, very organized club, and we believe so much on the education of our players besides football education. You all know we are in a season of exams in school. And some of the youngsters that are already professional players among us, like Ben Kekan, Tato Sibi, Mabin, and Bennett, for 2 weeks already that they are not working with the first team. They went back for Diski because they need to study, make exams, succeed. Because there will be one day life after football, and no one guarantees that they will make their life out of football still. So we believe on them as players, but we believe much more on them as men for a society that they will be for sure part of in the future. It means that we believe in the youngsters, and we try to develop them as full human beings inside Mamelodi Sundowns, by creating not only values that are the ones we believe that can help people to succeed in life, but also to succeed in football. What I think is important, and I spoke a lot about that, and I had a talk on the board meeting last 2 weeks ago regarding exactly the promotion of young players to the first team. Because sometimes we think that the player is ready because he can dribble 1 against 1, and it's not exactly that is readiness for a player to play in a team like Sundowns. Giving readiness or being ready for that has to do with 2 or 3 things. Because sometimes a player is ready, but he cannot find an opportunity to play because there's high competition over there. Sometimes he has a moment, but he's not really ready. So the level of readiness has to do with the interpretation of the tactical behaviors that he has to have on the pitch. Not only the way he relates with the ball and he dribbles and he can make a pass. But we have ready players. Let's hope that we can be in a comfortable position in terms of performance, because when the team performs, it's more easy to put one youngster player inside and he will be embraced and protected by the quality of the other ones together. What we cannot do is throw 3 or 4 of them at the same time and put them on the fire and not even conditions to be really protected in terms of game. That's what we're going to try to do. Let's hope, as I said, that the team performs well, because the work these guys will do will allow the youngsters to have more options, don't doubt. Because the coach will believe much more that with a strong team he can put a player that is still growing and will be embraced, and the team will not suffer, because in the end we cannot prejudice or jeopardize results just because we want to bring a player inside the pitch, because in the end we are in a team that needs to win every day, so we cannot do it.
Alright, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That does bring us to the end of our press conference. Thank you to the postman, Aubrey Modiba. It's been lovely. Thank you so much, Coach Miguel Cardoso. And of course, all roads lead to the Loftus Versal Stadium this Saturday, the 1st of November, for this Betway Premiership encounter. It's a direct fixture once again. Do you remember?